Thank you for telling me that. Because I've been talking to myself, and there was this amazing spiel about this amazing topic, and we're gonna need a professional lip reader for that. But nah, I was just like showing some crap. Yeah. Anyway, nothing too important. I was just like pretty much sharing a little bit about my day and stuff I've been doing. But thank you. The main thing that I kind of got into um, was massages. And specifically because in a few months I'm gonna have my final exams, the theoretical, practical, and after those I should get my license to just complete the whole thing for the full medical license. Because I can do massages and everything else, but it's like now fully, super duper accepted in that territory of life. Yay. Um, I was talking a little bit about how I'm sort of looking forward to recording some of the massages and how, in every day as we live, just stuff we do casually, doesn't matter if we're working out or just going for walks or, little things, but that kind of pain, it just starts with pressure. Oh, it's like feeling a little tense here, but I'm gonna get sleep, and you wake up and you feel kind of fine, and then you restart, and little by little that tension builds up to the point where that pain and discomfort and the tension and all the other things, it builds up and becomes a new norm to the point where we don't notice it, and layer after layer, with the muscles tensing up and everything else, and like I'm just looking at myself as an example. I don't need anyone else. I'm the perfect example of this. There's just so much. I was like always wondering ish, why did I had scoliosis? Why was it a thing in my life? Because I remember as a kid I used to work out. I used to like run, jog, and stuff like that. Like my first years in school, I was like straight as a string, and then life happened, and all of a sudden I became this crooked little girl, and I was like wondering why, and I was like, well, it's because you're sitting at PCs, because like you're sitting so much, and like, oh, it's you don't know how to sit properly, and yada yada yada, like all that stuff. It wasn't a thing. It was not that. It was not sitting. Of course, sitting straight and properly is good for you, but it was not the reason for me to get scoliosis. When I was a kid, I had this like bladder inflammation. Just since I was a baby, like my parents told me, like, like, oh, you were a baby and you were still like complaining you had pain down there, and no one really gave a damn. So it kind of just kept on building up. And when I was like 9 years old, getting closer to my birthday, just like now, this bladder inflammation got serious to the point where I was in the hospital, and for 3 months, like I was there, and they did the surgery, and the bladder inflammation eventually reached my kidney, and they had to operate on my kidney to clean it up and fix stuff. I don't know that much of details, because like it happened just like 16 years ago, 17 years ago, and a lot has happened from then. But as I talked to my kinesiologist, and like he's just amazing. People that I work with, people I'm connected to, we call him a shaman or however you pronounce the word, because like his techniques, while he was a massage therapist, while he was working with the body, he learned muscle testing, he did the spiritual work, and he learned how he can like literally reprogram your nervous system, because human body is very similar to a computer. And just like if you look at motherboard, and there's all of these little things that, little wires and things are connected to, the human body is exactly the same. If you would look at some layers, and even with the meridian system and everything else, you can touch a few things and it's gonna turn on the system. And a lot of these programs, our beliefs, our feeling states, our emotions, it's all written within us. And so basically, because I had a surgery and it was done on my right kidney, so I have a nice lovely scar over there, the kinesiologists say that like as it grew back together, your muscles are cut, your lymphatic system, your bloodstream, like a lot of things are just cut off, and your body has to find a way to repair itself, to find new ways to connect, new pathways. So it starts connecting. And doctors did an amazing job with the surgery and everything else. Like, I'm thankful that everything's fine up even now. But I did not knew that the surgery and my body recovering caused me to get crooked, because the system rewrote itself that, oh, we have to find new pathways, and it went more in a certain side and kind of body disconnected certain nervous system, certain muscles, just like I lost the balance of my full normal physical body system, and that caused slow this rotation of my physical body, and I did not knew for years. So about a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago, I accidentally, well, because my friend Kimberly McGeorge was like pushing me into, you need some physical touch, girl. You need that physical connection with people. And I was like, me connecting with people? Oh hell no, I don't do that stuff. Like, I was afraid of people. I'm very private, just in a way where I used to be. Because of my experiences in the past when I was like smaller, because of the sexual abuse, because I just got scared of people and the things they can do, I got this thing where keep your distance. And I was like isolating myself a lot. And I lived with that for years, having this massive fear of talking to people and them being close to me. And even like this energetic protection where someone gets close to me and I'm like, too close. Stay away. Like, don't touch me. Don't. No. So that kind of fear, it led to a lot of issues, and I was like isolated. I closed up. It caused a lot of psychological issues here. But anyway, my friend Kimberly McGeorge, like I said, she's working with me. She kept insisting that I need physical therapy, physical touch with people, and I'm like, well, my parents, I can go meet them, I can hug them. A dog doesn't count? Okay, well, maybe I'll find someone. I can shake hands with my brother, that'll work, right? So that was like pretty much like as close as far as I was getting. Like just the closest people to me, my family, my parents, my brother, and my grandparents would be the ones I would think of. And as I was working out, as I was doing stuff, I was doing crunches. And it's one of the worst exercises you can do, like on a bench, if you're doing like, it has to be a proper way, because I'm no expert, but if you're connected to the teachings of the Soviet Union and the old-fashioned bench crunches, like, it just kills your back. It's a #1 back killer. In a way, it's gonna cause a lot of issues. And just like really, really wrong to do it. Anyway, like at least in Eastern Europe, there's ways they show how to do that exercise, and it's not good. Anyway, so I was doing that a lot. Like, I was doing crunches, I was working out, so like just like that, 100 push-ups a day. You can even like probably go back in my videos and you'll find me sharing some blogs where like, hey, I'm working out, I did this, like a little bit of tracking and stuff. Anyway, I really enjoyed myself. Lifting stuff in a wrong way, doing crunches, yada yada yada, to the point where a few weeks felt like hell because I had a really hard time bending over and stuff like that. And probably like in 2015, 2016, when I was in America and I was working out, and you saw my friend Rich150X, he was lifted me up once or twice, and just using my body improperly, I got hernia. I didn't know about it back then. I was like, oh, it kind of hurts, and then I passed out from pain. And then for a few days I couldn't move. I don't know, just like some random pain, who knows? It'll pass, whatever. I didn't give a damn, but kind of went away for a while, and a few years ago when I was working out again, it came back really hard, so I was like, need to find some help. Eventually, I looked up at the chiropractors, at kinesiology and stuff like that, and someone who can do work on me, and this is how I got into massages. The audio is something like, yeah, probably the wires or something, I'll have to disconnect it and stuff. But, I got massages, I got Yumeho therapy done on me, and in about six seances, or, 6 sessions of massages, like 1 hour a week, my back got straight. And it fixed it. Bye-bye scoliosis, bye-bye pain. And to the point where currently in life I'm learning massages. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I can't say that I'm great or I know it all, but boy, it is so funny how in life we don't notice how little it takes to mess up the body and how freaking easy it is to set everything back in place. Migraines, headaches, pain. I used to have massive menstrual cycle pains. It would just hurt so bad. Like first day of my menstrual cycle, I'm passing out. I'm like, don't move me. I can take like 5 or 6 or 7 ibuprofen pills. It does not work. Not a thing. To the point where like I was like, what the hell? Like I just gave up on that thing. And I was like, like when my period comes, I'm not getting out of the house until a few days passes because I can't function as a human. Massages, few senses, never ever again. For like it's 2 years now, not a single pain. The flow is freaking normal. Everything's balanced, and all it is just the muscles on our legs and stuff. Like I don't know the English terms, but I'm gonna learn it because I want to share the stuff. But for me, learning that like it was just like muscles who were tense that was blocking my bloodstream and causing so many issues. But you relax that and bye bye pain. So for me, like it was freaking amazing. People unable to walk, the carpal tunnel syndrome, a lot of other things where it builds up and you see people waiting for surgeries, and in 3 months they're gonna get an operation and slice their hand and cut out a thing and solve the thing. Well, you massage it out and it's gone. So it doesn't fix everything. But I've learned that with massages, we can do so freaking much. We can really help the body, and it's so simple. You don't have to be a professional, you don't have to do some fancy technique and go deep. It's just like, for me, I've shared it before, but Shiatsu 101, you can look up. There's just so many points in places and you can go through your meridian systems, your nervous system, parasympathetic system, and just so much more. It's like just few points. You know the path. You don't have. It's not acupuncture. You don't have to know specific point. You know that like okay, well I assume, but it's not a needle. You take the whole finger, you go through your body, and there it is. High blood pressure. Well, just give us 15 minutes, and it's gonna drop by 50. So there's a lot of variations, but for me, massages became a big part of my life. I went to see my mom today, and her legs are freaking swollen, and she's like, I can hardly move my legs. And I'm like, well, just lay down. 1 little hour, massage her, do a little lymphatic drainage massage, a few points, or like you look at the muscles, leg muscles, relax it, and boom. You get cramps throughout the night, and you're looking at like, well, like low in magnesium, I'm not drinking enough water, but all it takes is just, if you have legs over here, right, and you have butt, just right here, you move a single muscle, just like that, boom, the whole cramping thing is gone within seconds. So for me, it's just amazing to see how easy it is to help people if we know what to do properly. And that's a thing where, when making YouTube videos and creating content, I've made a lot of videos on lucid dreaming, getting out of body, astral projection, stuff like that. And it's like, it's been an ongoing repetitive thing where I have a lot of experience with it myself. I've been helping a lot of people, and it's something I can share that will be helpful. And now massages is that category where people have physical body issues that can be dealt with super easily, and I'm looking forward to sharing it. So, like, my focus is like more physical body stuff and helping out people in that kind of way, and just tips, because people have tensions, people have pains, people have headaches, and it's an everyday thing. And how wonderful it is to know that people don't have to shove pills down their throat. I would not necessarily say avoid doctors, but there are so many times where people would call me and they're like, hey, a bit of my, like, one disc of my spine kind of got out of place. Can you put it back in place? Like, it's really hard, and it's just... So, I'm not a pro, but I know my stuff. And everyone can do it. It's a learned skill. Like, absolutely everyone can do it. So, I'm just excited about it. Excited to share some techniques. I have some recordings and stuff. I also want to get people's permission to upload their stuff, because, like, it's, you know, people sharing their physical body, and it's, like, very private and intimate in my point of view, because I used to have a thing where, because of my past, I would not allow anyone to see my body, and now it's interesting because, like, in the massage school where I am, it's like, okay, get on the table. You just take it off and lay down, and, like, you don't give a damn who's looking at you. Just being comfortable in your own shoes. Like, really being okay with your own body and accepting the way you are. And I got to work with different people. It's like from a 3-month-old baby who had, like, really hard clutched fists and footsies and wasn't able to turn to one side, and it's just a little petting and you using shiatsu ways, and boom, the kiddo goes like this instead of for 3 months unable to open his fists. It was, like, fun and easy. And to 86-year-old granny who's like, hey kiddo, I'm gonna get on a table naked, just please me. I'm like, yo, granny, you're brave. But she just like getting around. There's all kinds of people. Only few pervs who would want a happy ending that I'm not okay with. But you see all kinds of bodies, all kinds of issues, and kind of get very physical, very human, very accepting. And it's this humbling work. And at the same time, it gives you a very different perspective. Because when you go to the old people place, where they're just dropped, I don't know how it is abroad. Like, I mean, I've seen videos where old people can actually have some decency and engage with others and have some games and stuff, and people do that will take care of them. But in Lithuania, and I think Eastern Europe and countries that have been affected by the Soviet Union back in the day, it still has this thing where your grandparents or great-grandparents get so sick that they're gonna get close to death, and only when they're getting close to death, they're like, well, maybe we should put you in the senior nursing house, sorry. And so a person is close to their deathbed, they bring him or her there, and they die in a few days or weeks, and everyone's blaming the nurses, like, why didn't you take care of them, you killed them. But no, like, they've gotten a condition where they're barely moving or breathing. So when you go to the old people place, and there's a lot of cases, and you do massages, some people are unable to move and can't feel their legs, like, a lot of the variations. But there's certain points, and I mean, just shiatsu. Shiatsu is my number one thing. Just go through the points, the acupressure, help yourself, help others. Everyone can do it. And you have people who have been not necessarily disabled, but, like, this lady has had a spine surgery, back surgery. She has been in coma for about 3 months. Woke up and had a really hard time feeling legs, if at all feeling. And then, you know, just working on her little by little, like an hour and a half, just going through the acupressure, little stretches and stuff like that, like bare baby steps, small baby steps. And she's like, well, I'm starting to feel my legs. And it's not like she starts moving and walking around, but to the point where if you put, like, a needle to the point and, like, the body doesn't feel anything, now she's like, oh, I feel like ants are running around on my toes. And you know, like, finally a little bit here, a little bit there. Next time you come there, she's like, oh, I feel pain there. Like, last time you didn't feel shit. So it's good. Like, there's progress. So there's a lot. But anyway, I'm just, like, learning a lot about the physical body, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of it. I've created another YouTube channel. It's called the Kvilla's Health Bar. I've made a video about it in the past that I'm gonna be uploading more content there, because I don't know, like I don't yet consider myself brand or big and stuff, but because I've been talking so much about spirituality and self-help, self-improvement, stuff like that, like over 900 videos is on this theme, niche or something, people call it, right? That now if I'm gonna start uploading massages, a lot of people will be like, I've subscribed for spirituality, not the physical body stuff, I'm gonna watch it somewhere else. So because of this logical thinking and looking at YouTube and how it all works, I'm gonna separate these two, or currently I'm assuming how I'm gonna do this. I don't know if I'll do this yet, but just in case, I've created the channel and I'm uploading stuff there a little bit. But this content for self-help and taking care of yourself, like I think it's important. Everyone can do it, and when people have migraines and they're shoving pills down their throats, instead there's just a few points in the head that people can use, and it's definitely revealing or relieving the pain. So yeah, a lot of variations. So anyway, ta-da! Just my little intro. I don't know, like I've mentioned in the beginning when I was still muted that I wasn't sure about streaming today because of a lot of work I was doing. So it's not that I have a specific theme. And I was like in between just chill and play Elden Ring and do some Q&A, or just open up and start talking. So like, I don't know, like might do variations and see what happens, but yeah, just me being on the camera. So we'll see what happens. Greymax Face was saying, I was gonna ask about the physical suffering, and now you're covering it. Perfect. As the thing. Yeah. Lately I've been reading more of Jordan Peterson stuff. Really love his material. I've been busy with my own life and the content and the other stuff that for a few years I was not focusing on stuff that I'm currently reading, and what I'm currently reading and looking at is just like giving me more details into stuff I somewhat knew, but it's different perspectives, different wordings, and I'm like, good, I can use these puzzle pieces to adjust how I talk and how I present things because someone said it better, and maybe while they listen to that person they can get information. Maybe the stuff I'll share for someone it'll work. So like my content is changing, is getting a bit down to earth, or at least currently. We look at spirituality and this whole ascension and awakening, and it's been this whole self-improvement industry or topic or theme. It's like a double-sided coin. A lot of people focus on self-improvement, and it kind of gets like this never-ending rabbit hole with a lot of suffering, because people end up focusing on themselves too much, forgetting the world around, and it's like constantly digging deeper and triggering themselves with the stuff they find about themselves, and then they try to fix it, and it's like never-ending work where there's always going to be more challenges, there's always going to be more trouble, there's always going to be more issues, and you never really see the positivity and stuff, so you can get really negative. This whole self-improvement thing, if there's too much and it's imbalanced, can get you focused on too much negativity, too much kind of like content consumption, because then you end up watching plenty of videos and podcasts and reading books, and there's a lot of consuming, but not necessarily doing the work. Because people love that feel good, the high, the motivation, the dopamine they get when they consume and hear something. There's this, great idea, yeah, I have more understanding. There's a lot of knowledge, but little wisdom and little action. And I look at this like where, I've been pitching a lot of different contents. A lot of, let's say, entity stuff, getting out of body, past lives, afterlife, different topics. But, when it's like over 900 videos on it, so to speak, it's kind of like, repetitive. I can get into more details, but eventually you need to find balance. And for me, taking care of my physical life, focusing on what I have here, and how do you stay positive in this world? Finding positivity, finding some happiness, having some meaning in it all. I think it's really important. And as we're talking about, like the physical suffering, right? We can work on clearing our past lives, clearing our traumas from back then, but it doesn't really matter. In even all these sessions, people are so focused on fixing the past that they're not focused on the present, and that they can just like that decide that I no longer want to play that role. I no longer want to be the victim. I no longer want to fix the old stuff. Let's just open a new page, a blank page, and from this moment on, start writing the new content for yourself. What would your character should be like? How would you like to see yourself? What are some of the things you would like to do? And instead of looking like, oh, I have communication issues, well, damn, go and talk. And I'm specifically bringing this up because communications was my biggest issues. Communicating with people was traumatizing to me. I was freaking scared to be in a grocery store looking for milk or certain product, and you have to walk up to someone and ask, I'm so sorry, and excuse me for asking, but could you tell me? And I was just fucking choking and dying inside and wishing I would not even have to be there. And for me, that was like traumatizing. Because afraid to talk, then talking to strangers in the first place, asking for something, oh my god, that's gonna kill me. And so like, I've had a lot of psychological and emotional issues that kind of built up. But the thing is, and even with massages, because like it's just like such a massive part of my life right now, I noticed that I've learned to communicate. And it's not like overnight I just started communicating, but I have found new relationships with people that would every day come and talk and share about their stuff, and I have to open up, I have to talk to them, I have to expose stuff about myself and about life, and not oversharing or anything, but like everything's in like a certain frames. But even like everyday conversations became kind of thing where I feel like, oh, it's hard to talk, it's a bit too much, and it kind of words are just here and I want to say it and it sticks, and the old story that I was buying and living with, I cannot talk, I'm too afraid, it's too difficult, I shouldn't say it, it's just too hard to say, and you just drop it and you give up and you just say it, and it was hard and it can bring you to tears, but you said it and you've expressed that thing that was like, ma'am, where's the milk? As simple as that, which was hard, but now I've learned. So little things like it. But for me, it was a thing. I lived with a person for a while that had a lot of years in Scientology. And the guy was living by the rules and their mindset. It wasn't like he wasn't fully programmed, but there was a lot. If you don't acknowledge him, he's gonna like get pissed off. Because hey, there's a rule, you have to acknowledge people. And for me, I didn't connect the dots that because of different upbringing, because of different ethnicities, because of different countries, different cultures, different families, different everything, we were two completely different people. Grew up in a world where, because of Soviet Union suppression and everything else, I'm not saying like currently Russians are bad and focus, but back then, because of what the world was like, because of what has built up. Lithuania, in general, is a country of people who are very closed up. And they will not start talking first. Because for a few generations, they had this mindset that if they say something, they're gonna be punished. If they overshare, they're gonna be punished. If they speak up, they're gonna be punished. And you say something, the KGB is gonna come and kill you and take away your stuff, or just gulags coming up. My great-grandparents went there, my grandparents went there, been in Siberia, lived there for 20, 30 years, suffered a lot. So a lot of history And then like my family, like the way I grew up, and like the whole everything in my world was like, do not talk, communicating is dangerous, it's gonna kill you, yada 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 yada. Loud voices is dangerous. If yelling means danger, yelling means you're gonna get hit, yelling means this. So anything that was a bit louder, I was like shocked. My body tenses up, I can't speak up, I close up, I'm afraid, I hide. I was running away from communication. Meanwhile, I'm communicating. Most of my YouTube audience is from US, UK, Australia, Germany. We look at those countries, everyone has different history, everyone has different upbringing, but a lot of my communication and even that face-to-face live interaction came from people who were auditors, who were communicating 24/7, that listening and talking was their job, like even that Scientologist guy. And to have a conversation where I did not knew what it was to acknowledge people. In my family, I was talking to my dad and like usually I was getting ignored. Like I love my dad. He is great. But because he didn't have his own dad, because of his upbringing, because stuff happened to him, he has a way of communicating where you ask him a question and he's gonna wait. And he's gonna think about it and he's gonna find the best possible answer that will be really helpful to you after 15 minutes. So you ask a question and you can go into the other room and come back in a few hours and then he's gonna answer. And for me, most of my life, I felt like I was ignored, I wasn't heard, I was misunderstood. But back then I did not knew. And I was like, Dad doesn't want to talk to me. That was my thing. So a lot of my communication issues and a lot of different things about me is that I was afraid to talk. And acknowledging people, they say stuff to me. Well, my dad never acknowledged me. My mom, not really. My bro, not really. I was that kid in the house who's gonna play a Monopoly by herself. Really fun. Playing all the roles, having different figures and assuming different aspects and playing and trying to conquer and win against herself 4 times. And like every game, like by myself because nobody gives a damn. So like for me, acknowledging conversations, having like that face-to-face back and forth fluent stuff wasn't happening. And I've learned that people later on, like, it was hard to communicate because people didn't like the way I spoke. I would say something, but I did not knew what it was to acknowledge and stuff like that. So it caused a lot of issues to where I was in a relationship where if I didn't acknowledge, if I didn't talk enough, if I wasn't able to open up because of my fears and upbringing, I was punished. I was yelled at and stuff, and there were like a lot of arguments because of it, and it just killed me. When I got into massages, I've met people who were different, but also grew up in a similar world where I did. And the whole yelling that I was so afraid of changed into whispering. And I once read a thing when I was like about 10, 11 years old, and I will not be able to quote it fully, but it was like a few moms talking among themselves, and they were whispering. And they were saying that when you whisper and you talk in this quieter voice, it's like you allow someone to get really close to you, intimate, soft, and it's like very vulnerable. And when someone raises their voice and starts yelling, it kind of creates this chaos and pushback to the point that it scares you and you feel bad, wrong, and guilty. And it's that you create some distance between people. But when you whisper, you have this closest connection to people. And I found people who, without me ever saying a thing, naturally whisper to me. It's not like, hi, how are you doing? But we would talk, and at the most intimate moments where you hug and like, hey, thank you for your work. And that person says like, I love you. And you just appreciate that moment that someone actually cares. Someone cares about you, your life, how you feel, and they ask like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? But it would be whispering. And it was that connection at the deepest level that I've never ever like really talked to people around me that, oh, I've read a thing when I was a kid and like I feel comfortable when people are whispering instead of yelling. And if people were to whisper when they're mad, I think it would change the whole conversation. So for me, like, I never explained that stuff or my point of view and stuff. but I found people who did it naturally, and a lot of my fears in disclosing up and whatever has been built up for years in my story of I can't communicate, I'm afraid, I have this, changed in a moment where I felt safe. I was very vulnerable, I was very afraid, as in, you start talking about different subjects, about yourself, opening up. They ask you, like, why are you this way? Why do you react to this the way you reacted? And in that moment of having asked the most difficult questions for me, where I was able to be vulnerable, I was able to open up, drop my guard, and finally share stuff, just the way it is. And it was finally the moment, in a way, I took off my last mask. And I'm not sure how to explain it properly, but for me it's like my whole life I've been protecting myself because I was so scared of people and everything else that I always pretended. And not just necessarily making up stories and lying all the time, but not allowing people to get too close. Not allowing myself to be vulnerable. Not allowing myself to be authentic, to say what I want to say. But because of the people I've met and the conversations we have had, I have allowed myself to be vulnerable to the point where I am taking off the masks. And even like at the points where I think like in women's world, maybe, or for me, you ask the question like, hey, what's wrong? And you're like, I'm fine, everything's great. How are you doing? I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. You just drop the general words, general phrases, when inside you're burning and dying and you want to just isolate everything and not communicate with anyone. And it would be that white lie. How are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm fine. No. And for me to take off that mask and how are you doing? To be honest, I feel like I'm in American roller coaster ride, and I have good times, but a lot of bad and scary times. And now I'm really stressed and anxious, but I'm just trying to get by. And to have that conversation, just to share that stuff. And the person gives you space to speak and say what you want to say. And you let it out. And you're heard, you're understood. It's not like you're getting advices and your life fixed, but you're allowed that space to express yourself and to be authentic and to actually feel what you're feeling without having to pretend. And to find these groups where you get so vulnerable and you expose yourself, but you see yourself for who you are and how you truly feel. And I kind of want to get back to the little thing like we're communicating more about the physical pain and physical reality. You know, like in the spiritual work, we're constantly fixing ourselves and doing stuff, and we're focused on out there. Past lives, our traumas and decisions and beliefs and other stuff, where when it comes to physical and what I had to confront in a way, it's like at that moment, just taking off your mask and really how you feel and rewriting everything from the current moment. I could have told myself like, oh, you know, I am this and I am that and I've experienced this and I've been through that, and there's just bunch of stories that kept on repeating that I've gathered throughout the years, but I was able to push it aside and just, what would I like to experience now? I would like to communicate openly. I would like to be able to be authentic. I would like to take off my masks and stop lying and saying I'm fine when I'm actually dying inside. And I was able to do that. And I was able to communicate. And it's not easy. It's not fun. But it's like confronting your deepest fears of, let's say, what will people think? What will they say? And even like, for me, like my biggest thing was with my parents. And I think I'll probably in the future make simple videos as how I made peace with my parents. Growing up in a world where you're a kid that's ignored, emotionally abused, psychologically abused, a lot of this passive aggressiveness and stuff. My parents are great. They care for me, they're doing stuff, but because of my assumptions, because of how I saw the world, because of how I interpreted things when I was a kid, and everything else that has happened, and a bit of neglect and stuff, just a lot of things built up, but there were a lot of stories created of I'm not good enough, I'm not worth of love, I'm not worthy of anything, and a lot of limiting beliefs that I've learned to push aside and started rewriting my character of what kind of person would I like to be. The past doesn't matter. Yeah, things happen, whatever. It's an old story. What about now? Can I just drop this I can't communicate and see what happens? And it's not like it was an instant change, but little by little, confronting the physical world. Like, yeah, doing spiritual work, the whole awakening and ascension and yada yada yada, like all those amazing things that chosen ones do. There's a lot of friends, a lot of hot words and stuff like that recently. It's like, it's important, but at the same time, it is so important to not get lost in a lot of these big purpose, big goal thing, and just focus in a world like this that you're already in. Can you be happy? While looking for purpose and meaning and trying to do something that would like at least give you some value, can you find happiness? Can you actually be doing good and enjoy this experience at least to some level? And this physical work, physical pain we're feeling, like not necessarily massages, but just small things about ourselves that like even Jordan Peterson talks, and like Tony Robbins and like a lot of other people, those primal needs, like certainty and like variety and all the things, it's important. So finding that balance where, like even now, I did a lot of sessions, I work with people, I did a lot of psychic scans, a lot of looking into spiritual stuff, yay, it has built up to the point where this evening I was like, I don't know if I want to do stuff, I don't know if I'm gonna stream, if I'm gonna play Elden Ring, I don't know if I'm gonna answer questions, should I even do anything? But I know that in a few days, on a weekend, I'll be gone. I'm gonna go to my visit grandparents, and I'll be closer to woods. So it's like, when I go to see my grandparents, I make sure I stay away from technology. Consciously, no more PC, no more phone, no nothing, just me and nature, me and contact with people, me and, the sounds around me and stuff like that. Just being present and perceiving stuff around me and not necessarily reacting, but just being here, seeing stuff and acting in that kind of world. And that kind of balance, where I know currently I'm getting closer to being exhausted, not for a long term, it's small things, not fully burned out, but okay, I reached my energy level limit today and I want to be done, but I'm gonna get some sleep and I can start over tomorrow and then do it again and again and again. And that's like how usually my week goes, but this weekend, like, yay, I get to go visit my grandparents and be away. And those few days where I stay away from spiritual work that or work that would make money and just focus on physical work, gardening and building the sauna house or mowing the lawn and stuff like that, like taking care of my grandparents, just stuff like that. But finding that balance in this kind of world, I think is important. Anyway, yapping it up all about me for almost an hour, that's crazy. But anyway, gonna look at some comments, gonna look at what you're saying and see if I can give you anything of value today. Christopher Heights saying, "Hi, what's up? Finally caught up with you. We are on different time zones, lol. I talked with you last week, like 2 a.m. my time. Good to see you again." Brother, it's truly good to see you. Like everyone who's here tuning in just to communicate, just to talk, I really appreciate it. Like, you give me the reason to do this, because like I never really thought that my thoughts or even anything I have to share actually matters. But there are people who express interest, and because of you, I'm doing this. So thank you. Thank you for actually giving me reason and meaning, and it feels good. It feels really good. Douglas is asking, are you still doing the entity clearing services? Yes, I am. Looking into people's past lives or what's going on in their lives, like, if they're suppressed, if they have some stuff going on, why is that? Entity clearing stuff, yeah. Soul contract clearing stuff, yeah. I like teaching tools so that people could do it themselves, but if they need some guidance and help, I'm there for them as well. Mary is asking, hello, do you think we should take this light tunnel when we will die? Thank you. No, I would avoid it. There's a lot of stories going around that white light is a trap, and I'm going with it. And I think that instead of someone showing us a way or presenting us a thing that we have to react to and then think about stuff, like when you wake up in the morning and you're not in a hurry to go to work, you're not in a hurry to take care of stuff, to do stuff, to, this world and reacting to it. But when you can have a morning on your own terms, wake up when you want, go outside whenever you want, make that cup of coffee or tea or just drink your favorite thing and eat up whatever you want and have a day on your own terms. When you have this kind of thing, you're not reacting to life and its problems and issues and the chaos. What you do is, well, there's a pile of dishes that I have to take care of, but because I'm not in a hurry, I can do another thing. And it's like, white light, white dishes, take care of it, wash it, really important, do this. And you're like, yeah, but I have other options. And it's similar with the afterlife and then death. People get thrown these scenes and events where, oh look, there's the white light, oh look, there's an Archon, oh look, the Demiurge, oh look, reptilian, oh look, your dead relative that's actually a reptilian that's trying to play your dead relative to try to get you to reincarnate. And a lot of these scenarios that is just screaming like your phone alarm to get you up, to get you to react, to get you to work, to get you to do stuff. And we are like, so many options, so many things, what do I do? We get lost. We have to react to problems, so we're starting to act, and then we're in this perception of too much, overwhelmed, what to do. And I watched this video of Jordan Peterson today, and I think I've uploaded that one little segment of like 1 minute. When you are doing your own stuff and you hear this noise, something crashes and stuff, and it kind of surprises you, your instincts, it reacts, and then you look at what happens. You can choose like, oh well, I'm on my way to work, so I'm gonna carry on, there was a crash behind me but I don't care. Or you're like, what the hell happened? And you have to go to work, but you want to see, did someone die? Is everyone okay? Should I call 911? Who is it? What happened actually? And you get so curious about whatever happened, you're reacting to it and you get busy that you forget your goal. And so when we die, we get thrown these scenarios where we're curious, we're reacting, we're in this chaos and out of our zone where we knew exactly what we had to do and we were going for it. And now in this chaos situation, now we're like, and we're reacting to it. But if you had this chance to stop and like, oh, well, a kid fell off a bicycle, but the parent is there, no one's helping, and everything's fine. Yeah, okay. And you can just carry on to your own stuff. So when you die, and you see a white light, and there's so many things around you, for example, not like it's gonna happen, because there are so many different scenarios, and people have freedom to leave. But if you're like, oh, white light in the distance, cool. What else is here? Oh, hi, Mom. And you just allow yourself that time that you acknowledge what's around you, but you're not reacting to it. And on your own terms, you can do your own stuff. This is where you are at that prime creation where you perceive what's around you, but you have full autonomy to decide and to do whatever you want to do and take care of your own business. Just focus on what's important to you. And you're like, oh yeah, white light. I've heard that it might be dangerous. Probably shouldn't go there. Simple as that. Oh, there's a soul trap. And the grid. Amazing. Do you have to react to it? Like, oh, there's a grid! How do I get out of here? Oh my god, like, Jesus, calm the fuck down. It's fine. Yeah, there's a grid. But your consciousness. You don't have a body to be trapped. Are you choosing to react to there's a grid, so it means that I'm inside and I have to get out and I'm stuck and can't actually get out, and I've heard so many stories, and you're just running these scenarios where you're allowing your consciousness to feel like it can be limited. And the only way the consciousness can get trapped and end up in this game is if you perceive yourself. It's all about perception. It's if you perceive yourself as someone who can be limited. And when you buy into that mindset of I am limited, I am trapped, I cannot do anything, I am scared, I am this and this and this and this, you buy into identities that now someone can attack you. But if you're like point of view, consciousness, that's like, oh, there's a grid. So what would my perfect world would be like? Yeah, it would be outside of this duality. Full of love and joy. You start thinking about it, disappears. This grid, earth, your surroundings, white light, the archons disappears because you were able to breathe and focus on what you want and have an intention to experience that. And your consciousness shifted. That's all it is. So avoiding white light, yeah. Avoiding anything around you, yeah. I think it's important. But to the point where you're not reacting to stuff, but you choose to create it yourself. So that would be my weird take on it. But here is saying, hi Aquila, I sent you an email recently. Someone paid for my reading. I don't know if you received it. Yeah, I think it's Sue Heard that got you the thing. I got it. I'm gonna get to it probably by tomorrow or Monday. Face is asking, have you ever accessed any of Buddha Pure Lands versus Christian Heavenly Realms? And if so, how do they differ? Because I haven't read the specific descriptions, let's say, of the Buddha Pure Lands, like that's one thing. Christian Heavenly Realms, what's written in the Bible and Christian stories-ish, a lot of it, everything that's written, and it's out there, it is a belief system territory. And you might have seen this view where there's this massive corridor and just a bunch of doors to right and left, and you know, if we change reality, probably even ceiling and then the floor. But anyway, like a lot of different doors out there, and you have your own corridor. I think it's really important to stay in that corridor in a way where, while there are tons of belief systems out there, oh, there's the Buddha Heavenly Realm, or there's the Buddha Pure Lands, and then Christian Heavenly Realms, and then hell, and then there's the purgatory, and there's just so many realms and belief systems, and like the white light and the soul trap, and just so many things and so many stories. It's all just bunch of doors. And you are in the corridor where you can open the door. Nah, not my thing. And you close it. You don't necessarily have to buy into a certain reality, a certain truth. You can go explore, but you don't have to make it your permanent thing. You see it for what it is, but you get out and you stay in that corridor where you choose to create things the way it is for you. You're in your own corridor, everyone else is in their own thing, but don't get stuck in opening up the doors and only that thing is true and permanent. And I think like we hear different stories about Christian Heavenly Realms, Buddha Pure Lands, and all the other things that religions and different groups push. And yeah, it's out there. Yes, it is true for those that believe in it. And there will be tons of variations. Because let's say millions of people read Bible and they read about what heaven is like, and they will imagine it in their own terms, in their own understanding. So it's like, well, the way I see heaven, and everyone tell a different version of heaven. the way they understand it, the way they see it, and all of those versions will exist. Does it matter that you're now gonna argue that, oh, well, my heaven is this and my heaven is this, so there's two heavens, and now we're gonna duke it out to see which one is right? No. Both of them are right, because you believe in it. Your beliefs can change at any time, because of your understanding, because of your look at life, because of your values. And people create tons of realms and belief systems. It's just gonna be a bubble. And at any point in time, you can withdraw and create a new one, because now you've read a new story and you like it better, and your version of heaven, or Borderlands, or Shangri-La, and all of these amazing places, because of the recent story you have just encountered, something, one little detail just changed. But it's gonna be a completely different realm. So now you have 2 versions, 3 versions, 4 versions just for you. And you're like, 10 years later, nah, not my thing. All those versions exist, doesn't mean you have to go there. So if you get out of body, if you lucid dream, if you astral project, even if people pass away and they get to explore those realms, there are tons of variations. And those variations and a specific realm that they can go to will depend on how we see life, how, like, and what our values are like, what we're focusing on, our frequency, how we're feeling. Because you can have a normal day, and you will hear a trigger word: black, war, and just say some random word. And people will have a different experience about it. Like I've mentioned earlier in this video, when we look at communication and how I grew up. For me, communicating, because of my upbringing, because of my ethnicity, because of my country, because of the culture, because of the history, communicating meant that I can be in danger. That I can overshare, and I can be hurt, and I can be killed, and I can be exiled, and it's just, communication is bad. Don't do it. But someone who, let's say, lives in UK or America and has had a different upbringing, and communication meant freedom of speech, being authentic, and being a leader, and being great, and being a life coach, and being entertaining. And I'm not saying it's exactly what those countries are and the whole thing, but for some people, the way they grew up, because of where they're from, because of their values and understanding, communication means, yes, it's expressing yourself and being authentic. One word, one concept, 2 people will see it completely different. Black and white. It's like, oh, fuck. For someone it's like super scary, for someone it's like, yay, let's do it. So some people, depending on how they see worlds, depending on what they have been through, depending on their whole life, same concept, in amazing terms, as you describe it, can be really scary. It's like, do I really want to go to heaven where there's going to be a bunch of people and the streets of gold and everything's made of gold? But I'm not really materialistic and I don't like gold, so why should I be around gold? I don't want to go to heaven, but are there any other? I don't want to go to hell. So now the person is lost. Like, Jesus. Just choose a different story and understanding, but that person, because of his upbringing in life, will see it completely differently. So yeah, there are tons of versions when we're talking about, let's say, the Buddha Pure Lands or Christian Heavenly Realms or all your amazing places that can be mentioned. There are tons of places, but it all depends on your belief system and how you view life, on how you feel about it. And so one concept will create tons of possibilities, tons of versions, and it's all on you, what you react to, what you tune into, what you create, what you experience. Things I saw were different. I saw different realms and versions. Some I liked, some I didn't, but it's not like it was, this is how it is. It wasn't the pillar for it all. I knew, like, well, that's one variation I tuned into, but there's gonna be others. So that would be my answer. Taiki is asking, Kville, have you heard of Paul Selig and his works? I've heard the name. I never looked into what he is or what he does. So no, I didn't. necessarily. Sage is asking, Villa, do you see my situation getting better? I'm under attack by a cult in my town. Whew. Just trying to tune in. And then again, it's all about how we perceive the world, because a lot of people are talking, well, oh, psychics, so you're looking into past and the future, but it's all about how you see stuff. And yeah, this is exactly right. It's all about my perception, stuff I tune into, how I feel, the frequency, the possibilities. It's my point of view. It can differ from yours because I'm not in the war zone. I'm not in the country where people might be suppressed and there's a lot of limitations and stuff. Because I'm not experiencing it currently, I'm like positive. Yeah, there's like a lot of events in the world where the truth is getting out and the story and the narrative will change, and your country and where you are right now will be more accepted and approved of, and definitely things will change. But in your world, you're like, there's a cult in my town, and there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and I feel like I don't know when I'm gonna lose the internet, or if I'll even have a roof over my head in a few days. When you're going through that, you're not gonna be like, yay, things are positive, let's go. You're just looking at survival terms, and that's fine. Just looking at the best way to take care of yourself to get by until you can finally get some breathing room and evaluate things differently and see, like, can you shift and focus on something that you would create reality differently? That would be good. But yeah, in my point of view, things will change. Things will change for the better. Mr. Rolfi is asking, hi Aquila, will you play Elden Ring DLC? Yes, I would love to. I would love to. I'm still like, the character that I started in Elden Ring, it's still in Limgrave. It's about level 20 if I'm lucky, maybe 19, maybe 18 or something. So I'm still in just barely few bosses through and stuff, so like there's a lot of stuff to do. And because on weekend I'll be out of town, maybe when I get back, so somewhere around Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Wannabe saying, I've been guilty of that, consuming a lot of spirituality information, health information, and others, and not taking action. So you have to do both. You have to take action and get to your education. Absolutely. Like, that's my current case where I don't set deadlines necessarily, but I know, like, if I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, and I took a long break. Like, I used to listen to him daily because, like, in a way, I was just, like, trying to mute the negativity in my world, but at the same time, it's just, like, get a different mindset, like, learn something, try to apply it, and I was, like, actually, like, getting pretty good at it, but it is so easy to get that high and motivation, and it's just so great. You're learning, it's informative, it's really interesting, a lot of different point of views, a lot of different stories, a lot of different subjects, so you're just consuming stuff, great. But applying stuff, getting off your ass and like maybe finding a goal or something to do where you could apply that stuff, that's needed. You don't have to try to apply everything, but just like one thing at a time, little by little, making it useful is good, because otherwise it is so easy to get in that cycle of listening and consuming and not really doing stuff, and you feel like, well, I've been learning so much, why hasn't my life changed? But we haven't took the right actions yet. So yeah. Taiki is saying, could someone get targeted if they popularized your astral discoveries, like high production videos with illustrations of your findings, like a bestiary of astral entities and their characters? Could someone get targeted if they popularized your actual discoveries? I'm just like trying to look at this subject. Yes and no. Let's say a person gets out of body and goes exploring Area 51, the moon, the underground bases, and they discover stuff that they get attacked and pushed back in their body, but now they woke up and they made a video about it and they've explained like, hey, I've been to this place, here's what I found, you people should go there, see that stuff too, go get it. People will go, oh, it's just the moon. Area 51 will sound normal, just like how I saw it in the movies. There's a lot of different ideas again of how people perceive stuff. Because someone can hear, well, here's your experience in the moon, in the underground bases, or about certain race, or about certain beings. But the other person who will go where you went, they have experienced different reality about it. Watched certain videos, read articles, or listened to podcasts and stuff. Maybe they've just seen a few movies and they have their own view on it. Our moon is just moon. Nothing to it. Maybe it's a bit more like Death Star from the Star Wars. Will a person get targeted if they go to the same place? Not necessarily, no. You turned into something. For you it was the truth, for you it was the main thing, and you shared about it. And that person who saw what is important to him or her can share that stuff and be targeted, maybe first time, and they've talked about like, oh, I went there and I've been pushed back into my body and I've tried again, then I got targeted and this happened, and they just shared their experience, and I've had it happen to me, sure, but it doesn't mean that everyone else who will go there will experience the same stuff. Now, there's gonna be variations. Like I'm saying, someone will see a reality differently, but now maybe the group that felt like they're being exposed, now, because they're feeling threat, they will try to protect it. So now they will throw shields of a person is going into the same reality, into the same place, but it's like someone, the other guys put an overlay of reality. And you're there, you're trying to feel what the other person felt, but everything's different. And it's kind of like they push you this love and light and everything, so I'm like, yeah, there's nothing there. I don't know what you were bragging about. Doesn't seem important to me. I didn't get attacked. So now the other group knows that we've been exposed, we're threatened, so let's protect ourselves. So they will try to put layers of reality onto others. They will try to move or shift their place. They will try to create these traps where it's kind of like pushing people back into the distance and stuff, making it invisible. A lot of variations. Now let's say 7 people or more actually got to connect to exactly same experience, exactly same location, exactly the same point of view, reality, truth, whatever you want to call it. Will they all get targeted? Not necessarily. Just because you've been there, okay, you got experience and see it. Are you dangerous? Are you going to expose it more? Are you going to do something in there actually, or are you going to engage? If not, well, you're just a curious being who went and looked around. Actually, a lot of people who astral project and astral travel, and you can even do it yourself, you can go to, so say, underground bases, or the moon, or the other places, or even spaceships full of reptilians that are doing experiments on humanity, and say, hey, can I enter and simply be a viewer? Not do anything, not engaged, I'm just a viewer. Can I walk around and look around? You'll usually get permission. It's not like they're, no, get the fuck out of here, we're gonna kill you. Never really happens. They might push you back, they might disappear and hide, but usually, if it's a spaceship full of beings and you're like, oh, we're gonna expose it and stuff, if they see that you're gonna do stuff about it, yeah, they might say like, no, we might target you if you do that. But let's go deeper. You're going there, and you know that if you're gonna start to expose stuff, then you're gonna get targeted. But you're making a deal. Well, listen, guys. Look, you have higher ups. Look, in the spaceship, you have technology where you're targeting humanity, and few people have been here, and they've exposed you. They made a video about you, and you finally give them information. You present that you see the case the way it is, but you're like, I want to take a few steps forward. I'm gonna destroy the spaceship, but I know you have higher ups who will really torture you if you lose control. It will not target humanity. But how about I create a realm for you where you can go and just do your stuff and never be found by your higher ups. Just be free from them and do stuff you like. And they will like take the case. They're like, they can play the game they want, just like you actually might want to leave Earth and do your own thing and connect to Source, go to your own realm, do your own stuff, live that peaceful life, maybe even like do Earth again but without all the Archons and suppression and corruption, and actually enjoy life. Like, you just got a possibility to live life the way you want without someone ruining it. And you're like, yeah, I'll take it. So a lot of times, even if you're making videos exposing stuff, whether it is certain locations, whether it's like, you know, popularized astral discoveries, right? So something that seems so important and like really great, you can engage with beings, you can communicate with them, you can find out if there is a hierarchy, how many beings are connected, what's the story behind this, can you do something about it? Do you have an influence? Can you change something? There's a lot of variations how it can go, and you will not necessarily get targeted later because you take care of the whole hierarchy. The beings that were targeting humanity, you know, you got them out of space, so the spaceship that used the direct energy weapons is no longer affecting people's thoughts and how they feel. The beings that were in the spaceship doing the stuff, they're in another realm, so they're no longer a thing. You just took out a massive problem. Now there's higher-ups, and they lost their assets and they lost their thing, but they might be busy enough with other stuff that they will not give a damn to you. But if they target you, you go. And okay, so now I took out the problem and now I'm getting another target on my ass. How do I deal about that? You again, shift consciousness, go talk with them, communicate, see if there is a higher up, if they are targeting specifically humanity or specifically you. Do they want to kill you? Do they want to torture you? What do they want? Their understanding, their beliefs, their agreements and stuff, you go and talk it out. And literally those beings will share stories. They will share, well, I'm here to kill you. I'm here to destroy you. I'm here to ruin your life. Oh, really? But would you feel better if you were able to do this, and let's say you had a realm where I had an NPC of me, just a doll of the way it looks like me, and you had all the chances to kill me. It's like putting your ex's photo on a target and just shooting at it, and it's like, now you feel better. Those reptilians or archons or, you know, different races can have the same variation. You can create a reality with you in it, as a doll, as a puppet, as something. It's no consciousness in there, no real aspect of you, none of your energy. It's just a doll that they can destroy. You give a toy to your dog and it just tears it apart, and you're like, haha, that was fun, here's another one. And your toy has fun and it tears it apart, here's another one. The toy, because it's physical, it doesn't have soul in it, it doesn't feel pain. So now you're like, well, that was fun. So you can give the same thing to the Archon that was targeting you. It's like, you took away its game, give something better. If they're here to kill you, how about you offer them a game where they can kill you? It's a doll that looks like you, but now they're just having fun. And they got their needs satisfied, but they left. You've made an agreement. They're no longer targeting you. They're playing a different game. It's like, do you want to go kill people in real life, or do you want to turn on the game and play CSGO? It's a digital thing. No one is feeling pain, but you're still enjoying yourself. You're getting that crave, like, hey, look at me, I've killed him, I did this, I'm feeling so good about myself, and you're getting pumped, and everything's like filled up. Same stuff, but no one's really losing. So, great question. I think there's a lot of variations. Yeah, we can get targeted in some cases, but even then we can deal with it. So really depends how we look at the subject, but because of stuff I've encountered in the past, there's always a way to work around it and always a way to win. So there's that. Ooh, Siren Being is asking, what tools do you recommend to stay focused and being productive? Physical terms, probably, right? First things first, always take care of your physical body. So make sure you get your water, make sure you're drinking plenty of liquids, make sure you eat well and take care of yourself. You get enough sleep, must be. So physical bodies first, because if you just give more time, and even like Jordan Peterson says and others, physical body, you take care of it first, your chemistry changes. The way you feel about yourself changes. supplements and stuff. Some people might not be taking it, might not be taking them, or be lacking in certain chemistry in their body. And it's like you start adding tools for beings within you that are protecting you. You're giving them something to actually fight back the bad guys and then start working for you and producing you. So you're no longer feeling necessarily depressed. You're having more emotional stability. You're doing better within, so to speak. So that's one thing. Like taking care of your physical body, number one thing. And then you have to look at it. Okay, being productive in what terms? You can consume a lot of content, and then how do you get off your ass and do something? So I think maybe having a certain goal that would actually make you do stuff would be really good. But then again, my go-to thing is Tony Robbins. Like, you choose different people who have already achieved what you want to get. It's a common saying, because you're not gonna reinvent the bicycle. Someone has already done something that you would like to achieve. So you can just like look at what have they done to be where I want to be. And they already craved the pathway. Can you follow it? At least a little bit. So you find your why. You find certain teachers maybe. You find someone who you can look up to. And like, I have my role models. I don't do absolutely everything they're saying, but I have a few key things that they do that I'm like, okay, I kind of like that one. I think I can do it. And Tony Robbins has this, hero pose stance and being energetic and moving around, moving your body, and where energy flow, like where focus goes, energy flows, right? So you move your body, you're staying a bit productive, even workout, even stretching, moving around, just being energetic, but everything changes. From this lazy and able to do stuff, you move around, now you feel energetic. Now you feel like, well, I'm not as depressed, I'm not as tired as I was, so how about we tackle and do some stuff? So little things. Physical body, like little exercise, little moving around. Again, taking care of yourself, right? Finding a good enough goal. A few ways to go about it. You're either going to be in enough pain that the pain will push you to do something and change something, or there's going to be something that you want to get that is going to pull you to do something. For me, I can look in life and let's say, currently, I want to grow my YouTube audience even more. I want to have more control over my content and make better quality content to the point where I know I'm giving better value. So in order to do that, I have to learn something new, learn new ways to explain stuff, learn new stuff to talk about, like to talk differently, and to give more quality, to give more meaning, something that something can take. You can listen to me and can take something that will work for you, maybe. And if there's just gonna be one person, I did my thing. At least someone heard me. Maybe one person will take action, or they'll feel better, or they're gonna get a better understanding. Yay, I won. I did my thing. But it's always about having either a really big pain in the ass is gonna push you forward. You are so tired of, being a slave to the system, not making enough money, or having a really hard relationship, or something else, or all these entities are targeting you. So something is causing a lot of issues and pain in your life that is just pushing you to pain. Like, I can't take it anymore, fuck it. You take action, you do something. Or you have something that I really want to get it. Like for me right now, my whole mindset changed. A few years ago, I was like, yeah, kind of done with this world, not gonna have kids, not gonna do this, not gonna do that, just like really share some stuff and get out. Everything changed. I found a person, my life, my relationships, everything changed to the point where currently I'm make enough money to have a little trailer and live by the woods and have kids and have fun in life and just share stuff, be myself, be authentic, give quality to people, give something they need, massages and stuff like that, just like something to contribute to humanity while enjoying life. Like currently, but my thing is like, I have a goal that it's not super duper good, like I really want it, but yeah, I want it. It feels like currently I like that kind of view and I'm going for it. I know, like, okay, well, how about I make 5 or 10k and in that, like, I'm gonna pay off my studies fully, and then I'm gonna buy a little trailer house, or just move out, and in a few years gonna have a kid or two, and just see how what life, like, what happens. But that's my pull. Yay, current look might change again, but it's no longer a pain. So there's that. Setting deadlines is a really good one. I know, like, let's say when I have to translate stuff, when I have to do sessions, when there's something happening, if you give yourself a few months, you're gonna do it in a few months. If you give yourself a few days, you're gonna do it in a few days. So that deadline, depending on what you want to do, just like, oh, I have to get an essay done for a project and stuff like that, well, give yourself a few hours. When you give yourself a few hours or a deadline, you have to be done by then, you will set aside everything. Phone calls and stuff like that, doesn't matter, just focus, do your stuff. Staying away from technology and things, it helps. I'm doing that tech detox, like, where a few days a week, if possible, I will get away from stuff. Not look at phones, not touch anything, do not communicate with the outside world, not like really avoiding people, but my community, emails, stuff like that, where I know I'm gonna look and I'm gonna get consumed by it because I want to answer, I want to help. What are they saying? Well, there's another person need this, and oh look, I have to pay bills, and oh look that, and oh something on Instagram, oh cute doggy, or oh a new recipe that I have to cook now. Yay! You get so consumed by it so fast that it's so easy to just put it away, and okay, do not look at it. A few days later, pick it up. Now you can engage. So like, my thing is like, if I want to be productive and get something done, disconnect from things that will get your attention. A lot of different variations, but these would be my basics. So yeah, what else do we have? Pedro says, I was told by Darius that we do have a body when you reach the other side, and that that it's more dense than here on this realm. I do not want to denounce him or say that he's wrong. There's just a lot of different scenarios and different belief systems. And what he says, he's right about it. But it's like, there's like a lot of different belief systems, and you can read people talking about their near-death experiences that actually died and came back, so they've experienced stuff. People who shift their consciousness, get out of body, do quantum jumping, for example, lucid dreaming. A lot of those variations. Who else would fit? Yeah, just like a lot of different stories, and even like, let's say Robert Monroe, Robert Morningsky, and other people who have shared like their journeys out of body, for example. So different people, different cases, and some say like, well, this lady died and she had a body and she was on Earth and she was stuck to her beliefs and felt like she will not move anywhere because Jesus will come and save her. But it's like, will come and save her was forever, and she is still there, standing, waiting. And she has a body. And for a few hundred years now, or 100 years, she is still there. Great. There's a person who has died, came back to life, and in that moment of being away from here, he thought, in this void, and having a body, how nice would it be to see his wife again, who has passed away a while ago? He thought about it, wanted to meet her, and that intention, he shifted consciousness, he teleported. He didn't need to walk around and fly and use the body. It's all about here. More your consciousness, your perception, your intention. Consciousness is not necessarily trapped within the body. If you feel like you need a body, you need a vessel to move around, because it's like when you play a video game, some people like the first person game, where first person shooter stuff, like you're looking through eyes, but you don't necessarily have a body. So you're an aspect, you're doing stuff, you're moving around, you're more like a camera angle, you're experiencing reality, it's really fun, but you're never really seeing your full body. And other people are like, I hate it, I really like the third person view, where you can see your physical body. and you're really aware that you have it. Different variations, but you're like, So you prefer playing a game with having a body. Let's say for Darius, maybe this might be his belief. Maybe this is reality one out of many that he has focused on, and that works for him. That is amazing. But someone else can be like, this is his or her preference, and they're gonna simply tune into that, and just as a point of view, go in, explore, and at any moment in time, whenever they feel like it, they can get a body, manifest it, and be in it, and they're like, I'm done, and they can shift and leave the body. And it's not like the body drops dead. You're manifesting the vessel that you're in, and you can simply uncreate it. So I think it can be a lot of variations, but we shouldn't feel like we have a vessel and we're stuck in it and we're trapped in it and we're looking exactly like we do and we cannot change it. I think there is a lot more freedom out there, just because like a lot of different astral projections, out-of-body experiences, and even people who have died and came back, the near-death experience so-called, they've experienced it differently, a lot of different stories, but too many people shared that it's more of a point of view where they think about something, they focus on something, they shift, they teleport there, they're experiencing and after teleportation, after getting to their goal place, now that they're engaging in a certain story, they manifest a vessel, and now they are in the body. But at any point in time, they're like, okay, bye. They disconnect from that story or an event and go on exploring. It's like, again, I like this analogy, but like you are on Google Maps, so you are point of view, you don't have a vessel, but you're scrolling around, you're walking in different places, you're seeing the world, and then, okay, I like this place, it's amazing. Then you fly there and you go there and physically. So now you're in the body and you're exploring stuff. So that's my point of view. I can be completely wrong. You don't have to listen to me or trust me or say like, yeah, it's the truth. This is how I see the world. Darius has a different understanding, and it's working for him, and that is great. I think there might be variations, and it really depends on our belief systems, what we choose to look at. But I would say like at any point in time, you can have a body, and from that body you can move into more of a point of awareness, camera angle, move around as a consciousness-ish, not in a vessel, but at any point in time, again, you're like, oh, I need a vessel. You can just think about it like, oh, I'm in a body. Or like you decide to look at your hands. You didn't have it before, but the moment you decided to look at your hands, what do I look like? You manifested, because you just decided that you need the body. And you're like, oh, okay. It disappears again. It's no longer a thing. So it's like in a video game, you're holding a gun, for example, you're holding a stick, so you know you have a body, you know you're in the vessel, but then you take out a map and you see a view, you see the world, but your hands are no longer there. You put your gun away. So now it's more of a out there, no more vessel, so to speak. So you can have variations in it. Yeah, there's that. Face is asking, so we can choose to never reincarnate again? And also, how do we protect your aura from other people draining you? Yeah, we can definitely choose to never reincarnate here again. Again, it's all about our set of beliefs, how we understand reality, and how strong we feel about ourselves. And it's like, think of martial arts, for example. There is a person who has never ever fought in their lives. They do not know how to use their body properly, and they have a bully, so they're standing in a way like, I'm gonna fight. And they're scared to hell because they never did it, and they're afraid of pain, they're afraid of getting hit, and they're afraid of the consequences. So the bully looks at this guy who's ready to fight, and he just laughs like, you're gonna fight me? Like, are you an idiot? You're gonna get your ass kicked. And there's a guy who has been in karate and let's say has a black belt, and he's just like calm as can be. Oh, there's a bully, he wants to get in a fight, and you're calm as can be. The bully's like, this guy's suspicious, and he might have heard rumors that you do karate. He kind of wants to look tough, but he heard rumors, and he teases you and he says stuff and tries to provoke you, but he's afraid. And he kind of backs off, like, yeah, you're lucky this time, haha, and walks away, but he was afraid, he didn't touch you. Because he knew you do karate and you have a black belt and you can kick his ass. And you didn't do stuff. So, same thing with reincarnation. There are people who, let's say, consume content, read about stuff like, oh, afterlife, we can do whatever. Yeah, great. But if I'm gonna die, well, what if? You're afraid, you're not certain. And all of those variations of what ifs, it's same as having a bull in front of you and you're gonna pretend that you're gonna have a fight, but you know you're gonna get your ass kicked. And there's a guy or a girl or someone who has been, yeah, well, I might have had a lucid dream. I've been fantasizing about stuff, creating stuff in my reality. I know I'm a creator being. I've been practicing spiritual stuff, I'm manifesting stuff, yada yada yada, different things. Doesn't matter what kind of experience, certainly, but the person feels confident. Person knows that the consciousness is free, and whatever you decide to do, you are sovereign, you are God, you are a creator being. Whatever you choose to do, you will manifest, you will create. So all these stories about reincarnation, all of the traps, all of the beings, they will not even show up because they're scared of you, and it's not even going to be part of your reality because you know you're infinite and you cannot be trapped and nothing can affect you. It's free. So this whole reincarnation, it's not even going to be a thing for you. You can like right away appear in a new realm designed just for you. You even created it yourself. You wake up and you're outside of duality. You wake up and you're outside of Matrix. It's not even getting out of something. No, it was never a thing. You knew that I'm sovereign. I'm limitless. It's not affecting me. Once I'm out for good. And you strongly believe in that, it's not affecting you anymore. All of those stories that can be reality to someone, and it actually is reality to someone, will not affect you because you strongly believe like it's not even a thing. Yeah, it might exist. Not for you. So, you take the sovereign part, and the whole reincarnation, entities, white light, traps, whatever, it is not affecting you. Same goes for entities or beings targeting you. If you're like, oh, entity, go the hell away, fuck you, and shut the fuck up, and stop talking to me, and you start yelling and shouting and stuff, it's entertaining. A bully's like, haha, look at this jerk. This is gonna be fun. Guys, give him a time, and then we're gonna target him again. And it's just fun for them. But there are entities who are like, ooh, this person knows what he can do, and he can use his imagination, and we're all gonna be dead. How about we quietly leave? So, it's like, if you know what you can do, and how powerful you are, how strong your imagination is, and how you are actually creating everything, a lot of these entities, ETs, and other beings, when they know that you own that power, that you practice it, that you know that it's powerful, that it actually works, they're afraid. They're not gonna touch you. Yeah, they might trigger you through other people, but they're keeping their distance. They know that if they mess with you, they're gonna get their ass kicked, so they better try to find ways to go around and make it look like other people are messed up. But no. If you know, like, oh, they're targeting people to target me, they back off too. So there's like a lot of variations in it, but if you own your power, they're gonna run. Lovely people, I'm gonna take a 1-minute break. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, I'm gonna come back, and I'll see you in a second. Phew, okay, so today, like I'm talking about, taking care of your physical body, today is that day when I'm drinking like a gallon of water today. So yeah, cleaning up, really feeling good about it. Anyway, let's keep on going. What else do we have? Veritable is asking, are astral belief territories eventually leading to the 3D Earth incarnation? No. No, absolutely not. There are a lot of belief systems out there, whatever you experience in the astral, and even like, let's say, physical body falls asleep and you tune into another reality. And that you've tuned into, quite often will be your another life, another aspect of you that is living there simultaneously. A whole different realm. Nothing related to the physical Earth. Might not even be in the Milky Way. But you're somewhere out there doing stuff. And you're like, do I remember something about this life? What did I do like a few hours ago? And the memory will come back. The same as, it's like, your body keeps memory. So the moment you ask something about it, like, what did I do a few years ago? Because the body has experienced it and the body contains the memory, you will regain it and it's part of you. So physical body falls asleep, you shift to another reality, you connect to another aspect, now you're living from it. Because in your dreams, you're like, you're in the body doing stuff. Sometimes you look differently, sometimes you're in the same body, but you will always know what's been happening in that world. If you're awake enough, if you ask questions. And so, when you have that information and you're engaging, you can make your consciousness like more of a, and that life and that aspect more of a primary thing. So now more of your attention goes in there, and that life, it's not the astral, it is real as can be. It is physical. Doesn't have to do anything with Earth and incarnating. You're already living somewhere else. You might be on a spaceship. You might be tuning in to your other aspect and you're one of the Pleiadians, one of the Irma. You wake up in a pod, for example. You're one of the Lyrans, you're one of the fighters, you're in the Galactic Federation. You find yourself in a lot of different scenarios and it's as real as can be because it is real. You are experiencing it for real. And so, just because you found yourself in that body doesn't mean that eventually you're gonna incarnate here. And even if you never were incarnated here, and you were in other realities, it's not gonna lead you here to Earth. A lot of those realities have different belief systems, different physics, different goals. It's more of a playground. When you play a video game, does it mean that you're gonna be stuck to it forever and not gonna be able to log out? Or do you have enough control to where, that was fun, I'm gonna do something else, I got bored, I have to eat, and you just go and leave it? So there's a lot of realms out there, and we can look in terms of like, astral realms, or even when you lucid dream and stuff like that. When you connect to just different realities, you can be out there, do stuff, fully engaged, the whole life, whether you spend few minutes, few hours, few months, few years, a whole lifetime out there, can have full-blown memories of it all, full-blown experience, as real as can be, physical, you're feeling, touching and smelling and all this stuff. It's all there. Doesn't mean you're gonna end up here on Earth, no. You just chose to experience that world, that belief system, and then you get out of it, and then you tune into something else. It's also like similar to changing TV channels or radio channels. One click, one button, one knob turn, and you are with a whole different view, with a whole different show, a whole different event. You're not stuck there. You click a button and boom, you're in another place. You click a button and you turn it off, and then you can ponder what do you want to do next. We're here on Earth because, one, our perception or like our consciousness perceived things in a limiting way. For some people. Like if you're feeling, oh, I'm trapped, I am stuck, I can't move, I can't do anything, you see yourself as unable to, and a lot of beings will like, look, that being just started limiting itself. You, with your own beliefs and perception, create a reality around you that you are something that's limited, and now when you, with your beliefs and perception, limit yourself, because it's like watching a movie. You turn in Saw or something, or a horror movie, it is not happening to you. It is even that experiment where a person has two hands on table, and one is real physical hand, and the other one is a doll. and you might have seen a person hit the doll hand with a hammer, and the person jumps because it assumes it feels pain, and it goes with a hand like, damn, I actually kind of felt it. No, you did not. You assumed stuff. You assumed that that hand is yours. You created a perception that this is you, and it hit you, and it hurt you, and now you feel it. There's a lot of evidence where people are, let's say, watching fire or magma or something super hot, and someone pours cold water on the skin, and it leaves burn marks because person perceives something hot and assume that this is hot as well, and that perception creates a reality where you yourself manifest something that's completely against what it was. You got cold water, but it left burn marks because you assumed that it burned you. Do you understand how powerful you are? And how your consciousness, when you perceive that you are limited, do you understand what you're doing? You're putting yourself in a box, saying, I cannot do stuff, I am limited, I am a victim, I am stuck, I cannot create stuff, because they put a blindfold on you, and you assume that you're not seeing stuff. They put a blindfold on you, just a black screen in front of you, and you're like, I'm trying to create the reality. Well, it's there, you're creating it, it's just behind the black screen that they put in front of your face. You're not seeing it, you assume that it's not working. And your assumption and your perception led you to being trapped here. Because you perceive that you are no longer creating, you are no longer seeing, you are no longer free, and something's wrong with you, and you put yourself in a lot of frames and this identity that you're limited. And you, super powerful creator being, just limited yourself, and this is the only way they can trap you. Is if they create a perception and a story that you buy into. This is the only way they can limit you. So when we look at this, like, okay, well, how do I get out? It's all about you. All about what you create. So, yeah, a little spiel out there, but I think you get the point. I think you get the point. You're creating it all. At any point in time, you choose to manifest what you want. You choose to either be in a vessel and identify as something and go somewhere and do something, but as long as you believe that you can create, you will. As long as you believe that you're unable to, you will be unable to. But you are creating everything, from start until end. Anyway, let's go into the next question. Marcelo is asking, did you finish that Deus Ex game? No, I did not. I did not. The few streams I played it, that's as far as I've gotten. Then life happened, then I started streaming again, and then I've picked up another game, then life happened, and it's just a repetitive story. Now we're stuck with the Elden Ring. Greg is asking, what are your thoughts on the Terrence Howard? I don't know. Never heard of the guy. Sorry. Douglas is saying, I asked about the anti-clearance services because I've purchased them weeks ago, but I haven't gotten a reply. Dude, I will look through it. Please send me an email if you can, or even like fill out the contact form on my website, because quite a few people have had a thing where I've done a session to them, I've sent emails, and they never received it. And it's been a repetitive problem, and they even like reached out to Yahoo, and they're like, well, can't do anything about it. So, casual interference, I would say. But then people reach out and like, I just resend them their sessions. So like, I'll try to set up a different system where I might send it a few times, or like maybe set up something on the website where people get auto notifications or something once I get it done. But yeah, I'll have to change something up. Just looking at the lovely comments, seeing what's out there. Transcendental is asking, how can we interact with our guides, and how do we actually know that if a sign or message comes, and is there a way to have a conversation? Okay, communicating and interacting with our guides. Great topic, great question. I'm gonna turn on the light, just a second. Maybe we're gonna have better visuals. There we go. More color, yay. That's dark. Okay, interacting with our guides, huh? My first go-to thing is trying to connect with the essence of the being you want to connect to. Meaning, let's say you have a guide, right? You want to have an assumption of what that guide is. Animal guide. Right, a wolf. How intelligent is that wolf? Is it just a wolf, like a dog? Give it a command and stuff, and it's just like, it's just there? Or is that wolf communicating telepathically, and it's actually intelligent and sentient, and it's actually a being who have had a lot of lifetimes that is now choosing to have the body of a wolf, and is there to help you out? For example. Is it someone from your lineage that has passed away? Maybe primitive guy, boonga boonga boonga, and you're gonna ask like, how can I get out of Matrix? Ooga booga booga. Well, you don't want that kind of answer from the primitive version, right? So it's like, well, I don't want to talk to that ancestor of mine. How about something closer? Someone, in your family that had more knowledge. What kind of knowledge do you need? Let's say you have a professional football player that has passed a few years ago, and you want it as a guide, but you're like, so my professional football player that has never done too much in life but just focusing on football and constantly training and, live a decent life, fucking a lot of women, for maybe. So, how do I write a song? Two completely different subjects. That guy will have no information for you because it's not a thing in his world. And then we have, let's say, guys that, let's say you want someone who would be an extraterrestrial, really intelligent, maybe from a group that you read about and you connect with, kind of like, oh, I like this group. Do I have someone I know from them, and can they be my guides? Just because I read a story and I like them. So we have to look at variations of who do you want as a guide, because you can choose, at any point in time, you can choose who do you want as a guide. But if it's just in general, how do I talk to my guides? If you have a primitive guy guiding you, Oonga Boonga, let's get a mammoth and kill it, and you're like, no, I want to play guitar. And Oonga Boonga, why are you playing guitar? It's not gonna work. So, think of a specific being that you would like to connect with. What kind of information would you like to get? What kind of personality and experience does that being needs to have so that it would be able to provide you with help? So now you're looking at someone who has knowledge about Matrix, dissertation on Earth, some techniques on healing yourself, self-betterment, dealing with entities. Now you're having like really detailed list of a being you want to connect with. Because with a lot of things you've mentioned, let's say, of the knowledge and the aspects and stuff, is this being kind? Or is it actually very egotistical and narcissistic? Is it the Jewish type of, I'll give you an advice, but how about some money? Or more like, honey, I'll tell you things, but how about we have fun tonight? You want a specific personality, a set of knowledge, an identity, an experience, and then the essence. How would they make you feel if you were around them? Finally, someone that understands me, my soul family. Someone that I can communicate with, someone that is here to support me, is interested in my well-being, is interested in me achieving my best, or maybe wants me to get out of here as well, knows the issues that I'm encountering and knows how to deal with them. So now you identified who do you want to connect with specifically. Because the doggy and Oonga Boonga guy didn't really work. So now you have a specific identity, you have a being that like, okay, maybe a certain race, maybe a certain look. Does looks really matter? Not really, but what you want from them is the experience, the information, and understanding and connection, and so that they would fit your values and goals and what you need, so they would satisfy your needs. When you have a specific idea of the being, you think of their essence. Like, how would they make you feel being around them, talking to them, communicating with them? If you've maybe had past lives and you were best buddies, or was it teacher-student, was it best friends, was it family? What kind of status do you have? Because that being will help, that being will hear what kind of relationship do you feel like you have. For example, you just set those ideas as, let's say, frame for your work. So now you've had everything done, how do you connect with them? A lot of variations. Just like with meditation, there is no one right way. The way I like to do it, and there's tons of others, so feel free to catch my drift and then make up your own version, just, like, fit it to your own standards. I like to do it like, I close my eyes, for example, sometimes, and I imagine a world, a realm, or just a scenery that is outside of this duality. Not connected to anything physical, not connected to my beliefs, not connected to archons or anything. It's just like a little set. Like, for example, Neo and Morpheus meet up near that chair and the TV screen. It's just a scene, but it's their own personal space, their own room where they can talk. So you create your own scene where it's comfortable. Maybe there's gonna be a campfire. Maybe it's gonna be a forest. Maybe it's gonna be a lake. Maybe it's just your own little house, a garden, a park. Just a setting that you feel really comfortable in, and you set the rule that it's outside of duality, no other beings will be there, it's just my realm where I will invite this being. When you imagine it, and if you have zero visual skills, think of writing a book, a paragraph. Well, here I was in my room, sitting around, and I looked at the wall and there was a clock. You can write the details. You can look around on the Google, see images and sort of describe stuff. So yes, you can create stuff, you can imagine, you can think of the idea and it's gonna be there, you can manifest it. So, you think of it, visualize it, your variations, the setting. Once you have an idea, once you have the set of rules, once you have the frame for the being, then you connect to that essence. Because for some people who will not be able to see that person, that guide come into your space, you will be able to feel. If you ever, let's say, hugged a dog, or had a person who was close to you, or had a best buddy, they leave you with a certain experience that you will know them anywhere. Because there was this one experience that stood out, that left you with a certain emotion and the feeling state. They made you feel loved, understood, cared about. There was this cherished moment with an emotion created that it's just you and that being, and you identify as that. If you've never met that being, but it's a guide, and you think of like, well, in my past lives who might have had a connection with, and that being, I would like it to care for me. And the care would feel like, and you just imagine, make it up, act as if. And you connect the essence of how you would like them to make you feel, and it's exactly that feeling state, right? So you try to get into it, feel it. Like even close your eyes for a moment right now. Take a few deep breaths. And think of something good that has happened to you. After a long time of suffering and going through hell, that one good thing that really left you with, it's actually worth living. I actually like this place. I feel good. I feel loved. I feel cared about. There's a certain feeling state that they create that you can tune into and have yourself feel. It's like an exercise, right? So you're breathing, you're creating the scenery, you're connecting to that feeling state, you know what kind of being you want to connect with, and then invite them. Hey, I might not know your name, I might not know how you look like, I might not even see you, But this feeling state, I know you can guide me. I know we've had connections in past lives. Could you please come here into this created setting and be here with me? And you feel this flood of certain feelings and emotion. Something that you focused on, that you want to create, feel, now it's like on steroids. This warmth and heat comes to you. This real relaxation, and there's this change in how you feel. And yeah, it could be just body chemistry reacting like, yeah, you're breathing, good for you, you're relaxed, lower cortisol, doesn't matter. But you allow that feeling state that's just like flooding in and becoming more powerful. You allowed it to come into your space. Now you've connected. You might not see them. For those that have visuals, great. For those that don't, go with the feeling state. Let it be there. Get into it. Feel it. And then ask the question that you would like to ask. Hey, from your perspective, what is it that I should know? From your perspective, what is it that I should remember? Hey, look, I have this issue in my life, and I'm trying to solve it, and I don't know what to do. Can you give me an advice on it? And you ask your questions. And in that state, your created scenery, the being you connect with, the frames, you've set up everything. Step by step, you've done everything. And now you ask the question. How do you get the answer? For some people, they're like, okay, well, what is it I should know? Quiet, nothing, and you're just in that emotion, you've just asked the question, and this weird pops comes up, everything's gonna be fine. Did you think that thought? Yeah, everything's gonna be fine. Still trying to communicate? Or was that actually the message? You should know that everything's gonna be fine. Whatever you're going through, all this crap in the background that you're not even thinking about currently, the message was, everything's gonna be fine. Let it go, don't worry about it. But it was just an idea I thought is mine. Does not matter. Where it came from, what happened, what was said, you've got the answer. Do not question it, because everything you get, allow it to be there. Write it down maybe if you want to. Well, okay, well, what is it that I should remember? That you're powerful and you can manifest anything. This is me connecting with whoever I just connected with, right? So yeah, I can manifest anything. I should remember that. Because I doubt myself. I focus on this world too much. I focus on other issues, but whatever I've just heard, I might be focused so much on this video and not even look at stuff, but I've actually connected to the essence, right? I've asked the question, and the thought, the feeling stuff just comes in, and I allow it to be. Yeah, it's good. The answer might be short. But when you connect to a specific being, and you might have more specific questions. Maybe you're going through a rough time in your life and you need to make a decision, and you need advice specifically on that. So communicate it. Ask that question. And for some of you, a thought will come. For some of you, the feeling state will come. For some of you, you will hear the answer. For some of you, you can do that ghostwriting. Have a piece of paper and a pen, ask a question. Whatever comes in, starts writing. They're there. For some of you are like, well, I need the answer, but, and then you create your limiting, I don't hear it, I don't see it, I don't have any thoughts coming in, no inspiration, no nothing that Akivilla mentioned, what the hell, how do I communicate? How do I get that answer? How do I get that response from them? Now, you have to create a set of rules how you want to receive the answer. Because while I and my beliefs might be open that it's just going to be an idea popping up, because this being is telepathic, so whatever they say, I will not hear it, but it's just gonna feel like a thought in my head. And yeah, I've perceived it. It's like listening to a radio. I've asked the question, transmitted it, and now I got it back, a response. That's it. This is it. This is how I go with it. But if you have a different set of beliefs that you don't hear, you don't see, you don't get a response, you have to open up a door. If you don't get a response, how do you want to get the answer? Are you gonna open up the book and read a sentence that's gonna give the answer exactly to your question? Are you going to be walking in the street and some stranger will say a phrase that it was exactly what you needed to hear? Will it be a certain number in the sky and one bird is yes and two birds means no? You set the rules of how you want to receive the answer, because these beings, they will always try to communicate with you and give you their best, specifically the ones that you've said, like, okay, this is exactly who I want to communicate with, they will. They will talk to you, they will try to communicate. It is up to you how you decide to perceive it and get the information back. So a lot of us have a set of beliefs that might be limiting and closing the door and creating this blockage. But some of you might be like, when I write, I create. The being that connected with you get hurt. When you write, you create. Okay, whenever you write next time, I will give information. But if you don't sit down and write, and you do it in the like 3 months later, and you just like, I feel like writing, and all of a sudden this massive information, the flood just comes in and you just keep on writing all day long, why have you been waiting so long? Because you never thought that your basic idea for creation and getting the expression of self will actually be getting the answer. But if you know that your outlet, the way you get information, will help you to create, they know that you will only see that answer whenever you write, whenever you create. So you have to sit down and do something. So if you're like, I'm not hearing stuff, I'm not seeing stuff, I'm not gonna write, how do I get an answer? Maybe it's gonna be true drawing, but you have to choose an outlet of self, for example, for creation, so that being could talk to you in those ways. Or maybe something around it that you can perceive and hear or read, and something that will trigger that understanding. Because they will give you the message, but it is up to you how you will perceive it and stuff. So, how do you know if there's a sign that the message comes? You set the rules for yourself. When I communicate with my guides, they communicate with me telepathically, and whatever they're saying, it might appear as my thoughts. It's not going to be a loud voice, because if I'm sitting in a quiet room and there's people like next to me, but everyone's been quiet for a while, like people are asleep, and here I am drinking my water, communicate with my guide. Oh, what the fuck? Because the guy just talked to you out loud because you were expecting it. You've just created that state that, oh, they will talk to me out loud. And you got scared the shit out of yourself. And this being is like, oh, shit, I didn't mean to. Sorry, buddy. Okay, communication out loud does not work. Scared him. How else do you want to receive information? He thinks I'm an entity. Oh, no. Just close the door for communication. Oh, no. It's all up to you. How you perceive stuff. How you open the door for that. You're doing it all. So if you set the rules that, yeah, okay, I would like them to communicate out loud, but now you create a possibility that you will be scared, and if you hear a voice, hey, Arnie, Jimmy, Eric, Sarah, Kim, they call out your name and you might feel like it's an entity because you can't identify shit, you're not seeing stuff. You might feel like, I'm possessed, what the fuck? Well, you don't want that stuff happening, do ya? If you're in the street, if you're in a coffee shop, if you're talking to your friend, and all of a sudden, hey, Rich, you hear this voice, but no one's talking to you currently. You're like, what the fuck, am I going crazy? Not my earbuds, no. You have to be careful with how you set the rules, because you might scare yourself. It's like people, I want to be pulled out of body, and they fall asleep, and they feel like something's pulling on their body. What the fuck? And they shake their legs and they're like waking up and getting scared the hell. And it was an entity. They've tried to abduct me. Ah! No. You just asked to be pulled out of body. A being came to pull you out of body, and you woke up. You got scared. You scared the shit out of yourself, and now you don't want to fall asleep again because you assume that they're bad guys and they're gonna abduct you. So you close the door. I don't want to be pulled out. No. I don't want to create that stuff. So, let's be specific. When we want to manifest stuff, let's set the rules of how we want to receive information. If you're afraid of, oh, if I have a thought, I will think it's my own thought. Oh, if I hear a voice, I will think it's an entity. Oh, if this happens then, you've just closed up so many doors for communication and getting the message that, okay, well, how can this being get through you? And how would you like to receive information? Can you be clear so that they wouldn't scare you and do stuff to you? Well, reading book works. Okay, read the fucking book, because the answer is gonna be there. The specific sentence you need to hear will stand out and it's gonna be there for you. So, yes, there's a way to have a conversation, there is a way to communicate with them, but we have to be very specific. You know, setting frames for all those little steps. And again, this is one version, one way of doing it. There are so many other ways. For example, you don't have to imagine stuff, you don't have to do anything. You take a blank piece of paper, you write a letter to your guide, and leave it in your room where they can spot it. If they come and they see a message, then they will try to give you signs and communicate with you the ways you accept it. But again, lots of techniques, lots of variations. These are just what I go with. But yeah, hope it works. Just reading comments, God is saying, I'm really tired of everything. I feel lonely even in the crowd. Why things are so hard and people are selfish? I don't want to be in competition over almost everything. I've lost all my energy. And it's the comments like this that, you know, the world is a messed up place. We have to acknowledge that we live in duality, that there's so many hardships, and being human, you know that there's birth and death, so there's always going to be suffering. Just the basic stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we cannot change, and we have to focus on only what we can control, I would say, about us, how we react to things, how we can work on ourselves or what's around us, so that at least you could enjoy somewhat of the job I like. I have my lover coming back from work, so I have my doggy barking up and trying to break the door to meet him and stuff. So I think this is a place where I'll wrap up the stream so that we wouldn't have too much barking. And next time we'll continue on, probably tomorrow or some other day. But hey, everyone, thank you for watching, thank you for being here, thank you for allowing me to create content, because every question gives me an answer and I can just focus on giving something to you. My lovely dog is always making a lovely scene. Anyway, that being said, I really appreciate all of you, everything you do here for me, and looking forward to at least trying to be more of value for you people. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you.